And the Oscar goes to Wallace and Gromit in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Having already nabbed 2 Oscars of their own for Best Animated Shorts, this beloved duo from Britain starred in their first feature-length film of them trying to catch the terror that is known as the were-rabbit before it munches up all of the vegetables in the village. The story is probably the simplest of all the winners in terms of the themes explored and the most comedic with its tone as it satirizes classic horror tropes. But it is the wondrous stop-motion animation that set it up far and beyond by bringing these characters to life as they go through their hijinks with plenty of bits and jokes that get a chuckle out of me with some laugh-out-loud moments in between. As such, I disagree with a lot of people who say that this would have worked better as a regular short, as I found the pacing just perfect for this kind of setup. It's big and even atmospheric at points that give it a unique quality that doesn't feel stale or forced thanks to its charm and wit that makes it a joy every time I watch it.
And the Oscar goes to Ratatouille.
One of the most gorgeous and impressive animated films ever made by Pixar, it is probably the least known of their filmography as it feels that it is made more for adults than it is for kids in terms of the themes and tone. About a rat who has a heightened sense of smell, he learns to be a cook in a fancy French restaurant in the city of Paris, and he has to maneuver around crazy cooks and a vindictive food critic to prove his culinary skills. It took me some time to start to appreciate this film after more than a decade when I last saw it in the theaters, with the beautiful animation and the quality and the love that I could feel coming off from it. While it doesn't hit at the core feelings that other Pixar films have, I cannot deny the absolute beauty it gives off. From the look, the atmosphere, the characters, it all blends together like a tasty cinematic meal. I do have a feeling that it is an underappreciated classic that it needs to be seen again and placed a little higher on the Pixar's echelon of its filmography.
And the Oscar goes to Rango!
Out of all of the winners, this one for me went far and beyond in terms of the character models and design. I love the look of each of the characters and how they incorporate real-life animal qualities with Western motif to give them so much character and personality just by looking at them without having them say a word, making that an impressive achievement. As a film, it is an excellent and enjoyable run that is both a satire and a homage to one of cinema's oldest genres that is beautiful and funny to watch. The entire cast, including Johnny Depp, Isla Fisher, and Bill Nye, are fantastic in their roles, and I love just how they know how to make things funny while still take them serious. I couldn't help but feel that this often gets swept out of the way because it is one of the few non-Pixar/Disney animated films to win the award, but I think this is not only great, but it is better than many of them, as shown by my putting this in my 5th spot.
And the Oscar goes to, wow, Wally.
We got snow upon the mountains, we got rivers down below. We're coming down to the ground.
Probably one of the more riskier films the studio has done, Wally is a robot living on a desolate Earth who gets visited by Eve from a space colony out in space in search for life returning on the planet. This has always been one of my favorite movies to watch, and the decision to have the 2 major characters mostly silent with very little dialogue is a great way to show off the emotions from 2 robots with limited ways that is enhanced by the beautiful and photorealistic animation. It's grand in its scale but heartwarming as it explores the relationship between 2 characters in an unusual love story that steals my heart every time I watch it.
And the winner is Up.
Another Pixar film that took me a second viewing to appreciate, only this one made me fall in love with it. About an old man who rides to Paradise Falls as part of his late wife's wish, this film is not only lovingly animated with its cartoonish style of the characters with some beautiful and exciting set pieces throughout, but it has a big heart that looks at the idea of forming new relationships with new people, no matter how old one gets. It's fun, engaging, and even heartbreaking at points. Up is an amazing achievement by an already impressive studio that also deserved the nomination for Best Picture of its year.
And the Oscar goes to, let's see, Spirited Away.
The only traditionally hand-drawn animated film to win the Oscar, they could not have picked a better movie to represent a technique that seemed to be losing its luster in this day and age. Directed by world-renowned Hayao Miyazaki, is a story of a young girl named Chihiro who gets trapped in a magical world where demons and strange creatures walk. Over the course of the film, she learns to grow up and take charge of herself in order to save both herself and her family. Not only do I name this as one of the greatest animated films, or even one of the best films ever, but as one of the most essential films ever made. What this movie does is show how unlimited a movie can be with its visuals while telling an engaging story that anybody could relate if they give it a chance. It took a big risk and it paid off with an excellent cast of characters and some of the most beautiful animation I've ever seen. Everything feels so right about this film, with its tone, the look, the pacing of the story. Everything about it feels so right that this is one of the rarest of perfect filmmaking, even if I'll notice a flaw or two with future viewings. Yeah, it's that good. But not my number one pick.
The winner of Best Animated Feature Film, and the Oscar goes to Finding Nemo.
For me, this was a hard choice to make, Finding Nemo or Spirited Away as my number one. What edged out Finding Nemo for me is because I just find this such a joy to watch. It's funny, it's gorgeous, it's heartwarming, it's exciting, it's just perfect. Still held today as one of the most beloved films, Finding Nemo blew everybody's expectations out of the water and solidified Pixar's reputation as a genuine movie studio. About a clownfish searching for his missing son, the story and message is as entertaining and meaningful for adults as it is wonderful for children to watch. The voice acting is fantastic, with Ellen DeGeneres as a short-minded Dory as the highlight for me to watch. While this type of person would have annoyed me in real life, she is such a charming character with some depth to her that she is one of my favorite characters in any movie. I'm sure there are people who would disagree with me with my pick. Trust me when I say that it was a hard choice to make after having watched both of the films recently after so many years of absence. So instead of copying out and having both tie for the top spot, I had to pick one, and Finding Nemo is my number one pick as the Best Animated Feature Oscar winner.